Please take me as your apprentice.
You want to meet the marketing team that came up with a unicorn shitting ice cream? Okay.
No, with like the group who actually pulled it off. Because the video is just so slick.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like the concept is hilarious, but the video is just so good.
It's pretty damn great.
Oh, hey, we're
by
live.
the way.
Anyway,
Yeah. Welcome
people.
to Seattle's Angels stream number whatever the fuck. I can't
we
be
talk
honest to
about
remember.
unicorns shitting rainbows.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Every day on Film Fiction.
Pretty much.
Ah, Jesus Christ. Welcome to the stream. We've got a lot of people here. We've got one special guest, Mr. Carabas, who's written an awful lot of... I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have no idea.
Carabas, hi.
Carabas. Okie dokie.
Yes. I believe we featured The White Horse and Second Son.
And
I think-
Motion of the Stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion of the Stars. Lovely little story right
And
there.
probably more that we can't remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. How many stories have you written at this point, Carabas?
A fair buckle. I think it's just those three that you featured so far. You've
Certainly
taken
do
that
have-
that many
So
times.
far. Ooh, bit
I would say
cheeky.
you have several that we could feature again, sadly. Because it's much nicer to go, you have none we can feature again because you've become successful.
Yay!
Finally.
It's nice that that happened.
Boy, everyone wins. It's strange that the ideal situation is that we're out of a job because everyone who deserves to be popular is popular. But that's the case, so whatever.
Oh well.
Oh, dearie me. Oh, we've got a little message coming in.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, indeed. But yes, welcome to the... What number is this?
Somebody who's better at counting Roman numerals than me answer that.
It looks like 57.
Yeah.
If
that's right.
Plum's Roman numeral is correct, it's 57.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We had number 56 a couple of weeks ago, which was the one that we didn't actually plan more than 5 minutes in advance, so ended up just using the Skype chat.
Yeah,
So
because I think
that
that
was-
ended up being everybody kind of had to bail on it.
Most people, but we did end up with a fair few people in the stream. Like
Yeah.
by the end, we were just debating like astrophysics, which was pretty fun.
Always enjoyable. I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm glad I showed up for the stream.
Yeah,
Definitely.
We can get cracking on the astrophysics right now if you want. Or
I was going to say, I can drag the quantum physicist over. I'm sure he'd enjoy talking. We have a sock!
Yeah, we do. Welcome back,
Oh,
Spoop. Fucking beautiful. That was
Perfect.
everything
What's
I
going on,
wanted
guys?
it to be.
Hello.
That was exactly how it needed to be.
Best way you could have come back, Sock.
That
Yes.
was beautiful.
I
I
try.
mean-
I
So
try.
he could have played a theme song.
This is true.
What would be the theme
Flash
song?
Gordon.
Well, obviously it'd have to be Flash.
Ah! I don't have Alex here to
Well,
harmonize
I was
with
going to say, you need Alex here to harmonize with you.
Yeah,
That's
maggots.
the point. There is a song that has been stuck in my head over the past couple of days.
Oh
What's
dear.
that then?
Well, I'm the type of guy who will never sit around.
Of course. Fucking beautiful. That advert was pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Yes.
I'm not going to deny.
Sock, here's a question for you. Who the heck were you in the writing competition? Since everybody was discussing it, they couldn't remember if they actually found out or not.
Ah, the Slam Jam.
Yes.
Yes, in fact, I just got a PM from that one guy who was doing the whole compilation just this morning, in fact. But for everyone listening, I was evergreen.
Hey, C-Squared knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bravo, OC, you called it.
I just want to let you know, because you drew your OC and put it in the thing, I knew it was you instantly.
Just look and go, yeah, that's his art style. It's
Yeah.
Sock.
But yes.
I didn't even need to read the story.
Did you at least read it, though?
Well, yeah, I did, but I didn't need to.
Touche.
Good. But yes, the stream is on now. We do have Sock, who is sort of a special guest, and Carabas, who is actually a special guest. We don't have the reviews posted, but they will be up either late tonight or sometime tomorrow, which
Yes.
with an exciting new special feature that we're not going to talk about just yet. That should be interesting.
Because spoilers. Also,
Yes.
Raz, your
What?
name is from Ace Combat, yes?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, friend of mine, Muse, is just freaking out. He goes, "Is that a person with the name Raspberries I'm seeing?" It is indeed. I'm not the only Ace Combat fan!
Oh,
There's
there's two in
dozens
this
of
stream,
us.
so yes.
Dozens!
Yes. Sock is here too, so.
I was gonna say, we have multiple Ace Combat fans. Muse
Yeah.
can die happy.
I never played Ace Combat that much. I did play a bit of that Hawks game. That was interesting.
Meh.
Oh, Tom Clancy's Hawks.
It was alright. Yeah, Tom Clancy's Hawks. It was alright.
Trying to be Ace Combat.
Yeah, well...
Ace Combat 5 is the last great one.
Yes!
Yes.
Zero was alright.
Well, yeah, 0 was alright, but it didn't really live up to the magic.
Yeah,
Mm,
5 was
Yeah.
certainly the high point.
Yep.
fair enough.
I hope
your friend
appreciates our opinions, Ferret.
I'm sure he does. I don't know. I have to wait for him to catch up with the stream since, we have a huge delay. But I will let you know as soon as he starts freaking out.
Yeah. Right. This, I think, seeing as we don't have the previous round of reviews to go through, this is the part of the stream where we get Ferret to just ravage the guest and ask him so many goddamn questions.
I can do that!
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Cannabis! Tell me about a Berserker Goes to Equestria.
Before
That's
that, we just need to introduce him for anyone who hasn't, heard of his work for some stupid reason, because obviously you should have, because you're reading our stuff. Carabas, who are you? What have you written?
I'm Carabas. I'm a student. When I'm not sort of pretending to be productive and sort of, writing horse words and the like, I'm a uni student in Scotland, University of Dundee, doing a master's course currently.
Mm.
So that's something I can do during the days and all that. Forgive me, I'm rambling. Anyway, probably the most known things I've written about would be like Palaver. I did sort of fairly well in the outside-inside contest last summer, and it did pretty well. But it ended up placing third, and since then I've written a few other things that have got sort of done reasonably well. The Tempest, sequel to Moonlight Palaver, was also fairly recent. It was sort of a direct continuation, looking at sort of the politics and world building I'd come up with for the wider world around Equestria.
Which then led to people demanding blog posts.
That it did. So certain suspect people demanded blog posts, and
I don't know what you're talking about.
Crown. I'm writing. Why do we not have the crown? Why do we not have the and rioting?
the crown's coming soon. I'm working on the blog post for it currently.
Crown or chat riot.
Yeah.
Aye, fair enough. I'll say that's a good enough intro. Ferret, we unleash you.
I want to know about a Berserker Goes to Equestria because I love that story. Which is funny because I don't even know Warhammer 40k, but I have learned so much about it from reading
Wait.
crossover fic.
He wrote a 40k crossover?
The title is, seriously, do not taunt Happy Fun Corn.
I did not know. Fuck this. I need to get. Fuck the stream. I'm gonna go read this.
Yes, you should, because it is awesome.
By Berserker, I'm assuming it's a Cornate Berserker. If not,
Yep.
I'm disappointed.
It's a dude in red and gold armor with two big freaking axes.
Are
So,
they chain
yes.
axes?
They are chain axes.
They look like it.
Thank fucking God. Worldy thing. My fucking man. Beautiful.
The description. As a punishment for hubris, the blood god banishes a berserker to the idyllic world of Equestria. Events proceed in about as civilized a manner as you'd expect.
Yeah, that seems about right. I assume there was much skulls for the Skull Throne. Similar things.
Yes,
Not
no.
really. Not
Ah,
really. It's more sort of a case of Berserker going to Equestria and sort of, getting 40'd in every way possible. The Berserker does not have a fun time in Equestria.
I bet Chief was laughing his ass off. Yes.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
basically.
But-
Porch sits back and
I have to
cackles
know.
evilly.
I have to know, though, exactly how many words in is the first utterance of
Born for the Blood God! Beautiful.
About maybe 1,000, 2,000 words in, thereabouts. I'm crap at estimating.
That's probably about 1,000 or 2,000 words too much, if I'm quite honest. But
No fairness,
exactly my thoughts. Exactly my thoughts.
I would actually say it's less than 1,000 words.
Mm,
It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5
7.
paragraphs in.
mm. Anyway, I'm definitely gonna have to check that thing out. I'm very interested in this now.
It's very silly. It'll load your brain cells. It's that silly.
That's why it's awesome, though, because it is hilariously funny.
I think by the time you incarnate Berserker, brain cells are of secondary importance. As long
Fair
as you've
enough.
got enough to blow
Force is
machines. Beautiful.
Perfect. So, all right, explain the story behind that. What inspired you to go, let's take a Berserker and put him in Equestria?
Okay, the story was actually sort of inspired by a work I'd read sort of so many decades ago on fanfiction.net.
Oh,
I think
Lord.
the original crossover there was a Berserker goes to the 100-acre woods.
Oh my god, I need to
Oh,
see
bother.
The wonderful thing about Tigers is I'm the enemy.
And you know, it sort of stuck around in my mind. It was also fairly well done. And eventually, sort of back around when I was first getting into the whole pony business, I was still knocking around in my mind, and I decided, yeah, maybe this will sort of write an MLP take on it. So I got in contact with the author, got his probably fairly confused permission to do so, and just sort of inflicted it on the outside world.
Oh, Christ.
It seemed like a good decision at the time, honest.
So do many things to do with 40k. God, I want to get back into that, but it's just I just can't afford the models anymore. You know, I love the fucking lore. It's so stupid, and I fucking love it. But the game itself is just too damn expensive for me right now. But
I have found the story. It is called Berserker Hell by Lord Ironwolf, and the description is literally, ever wonder what would happen if a corn berserker got dropped into the 100-acre woods?
beautiful, fucking beautiful.
I love it. It literally starts with, Brickane swung his chain axe and messily gutted and then flung aside another guardsman that had dared to stand before him.
That's pretty accurate. That's what they tend to do.
Oh my god,
Typical
this is
berserker
fantastic.
I'm disappointed by the severe lack of Tyranid crossovers in MLP.
That is tragic. You
this
clearly
should be
need to fix
remedied.
this, Plum. Your magnum opus needs to be a
I'll
Tyranid
work-
crossover.
I'll work them into my magnum opus.
Tyrannids versus changelings.
Oh boy.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that. For sure.
Actually, one of my favorites is, I think it's Duncan R. wrote like a Ponies versus StarCraft thing. That is hilarious, because it's the damn dirty dirt pony.
Mm,
And then like Rarity and Blue Blood showing up as
the Protoss.
the Protoss and just blasting the planet.
That reminds me of Blue Shift and his XCOM crossover.
Yes.
Oh,
I
dear.
can't help but be reminded of Horizon's competition with the one chapter by Kitsune Risu.
Yes.
We'll talk
No,
about...
it's not by Kitsu. Kitsu submitted it for his friend,
Right. Okay, fair enough.
like Changeling 42. Or sorry, it's like Drone 40. Zergling Drone number 42.
Yeah. We'll talk about that competition after we've had a chat with Carabas, because that's something that happened in the past couple of weeks, so...
Yes, but we should clearly talk more about Carabas because he is
Yes.
awesome. Also discuss the fact why he is not updating the doubles details and instead writing Noctivision.
I know. I want to know about that too.
It's in about 13 days. It'll be a full year since I've updated it. I'm hoping to get a chapter out before then. I'm hoping. Honestly, I'll try.
So basically, I need to start harassing you more?
That's an approach. It's
If I riot more, will that work too?
writing might also accomplish something. I don't know. I'm susceptible to bribery. I'm very corrupt, if that helps.
Oh, that's definitely an exploitable thing. I can mail you Canadian stuff.
This is
Brilliant.
true. I still need to mail you tablet.
Yes, because you
Things
forgot
you
to
were
give it
asking.
to me at BronyCon.
Yeah.
He's
That's
like,
true.
hey, I brought you British candy. Oh, look, BronyCon's over. So about that British candy, bring it next year. Crusade at Midnight Castle,
That too.
which is so awesome.
I was going to ask Carabas's opinions on tablet, but okay, fair enough.
No, we are discussing Carabas's
That was
awesome
good.
fix.
I can offer opinions on tablet as well. Tablet's pretty handy.
No, you need to offer
My
opinions about running
dad
the
often makes a
CFC.
homemade batch every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I've been exposed to tablet. It's half a fine.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, fair enough.
A good sort of a good dish from the islands to introduce the foreigners and the like. Just sort of pop them in their mouth and watch watch their eyes widen at the sheer sweetness.
Yeah, it's just, watch them sort of try not to look sort of disgusted at the sweetness, like they go,
I just want to savor the moment as they adjust.
Yeah. Just watch that expression wash over their faces.
So for serious though, you Americans, your chocolate is
Really weird.
fucking nasty. Hershey's is
It's not nasty, it's just strange.
If all you've had is Hershey's, you have not experienced American chocolate.
This is fair.
You know, it's the only chocolate that's managed to make it abroad, really. That's American.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Plum,
Well, see,
I will
that's
bring
like-
you so much chocolate. They're an exclusive.
I feel like most
Unrelated to the
cultural
game.
things that make it abroad just don't end up being very good abroad.
Fucking beef Wellington. That's perfect in any situation.
Yeah, shepherd's pie. Mm.
Yeah.
Eggs Benedict.
Pasties.
Yeah. Generally, it's the stuff that doesn't go like outside of a small section of the country that you need to worry about. Like
Yeah.
stargazy pie is forever baffling to me. I will never understand the kind of
Well,
person who
by the
puts
same
whole-
token, haggis.
Haggis is fucking gorgeous. You shut your
amazing.
face.
I've not tried it. I'm certainly willing to, but yeah, like when I first read about Stargazer Pie, I had to look it up, and I just remember staring at the Wikipedia page, going like,
Yeah.
people actually eat this thing?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, it looks bizarre as hell, and second of all, it sounds revolting.
It's a pie that stares at you.
It's literally the way you make it is you take little whole fish, usually some kind of oil fish, and you actually put them in the pastry so that their heads are poking out,
Yeah.
so they can stare at you judgmentally while you consume them.
It's like
Keep in
you
mind,
use
these
the
are
rest of
oil
the
fish,
fish. You
which
use the
means-
rest of the fish, but
yeah.
you keep the head and you use it in the crust, and it stares at you as you eat it.
Yes, it is
Who invented this?
This was invented.
mad, drunken fishermen. That's all I can think.
Cornwall. I'm 99% sure it's entirely consumed by Cornwall.
I would totally believe that. I look at it the same way I look at dulse.
Well,
Which I think
Wikipedia
was...
says it's
Yeah.
Cornwall,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
Cornwall is the part of the country that only started speaking English in the 18th century. In England. So,
You could argue they were just holding out for a better language.
yeah. You know Wales? Imagine Welsh to Welsh. Like, the Welsh to English is weird. Imagine what Wales thinks Cornwall is like if it's the similar sort of gap. It's fucking weird, that part of the country. Stay away from Cornwall. Everyone. This is my top travel tip. Don't go to the south of England. You will regret it horribly.
They invented Stargazy Pie, but I don't know who the hell that is.
Ah, dearie me. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, we were talking about how fucking gorgeous haggis is and how wrong sock is.
No, we were talking about Crusader Winter Castle.
I never thought that haggis would be described as
I think it can be a very attractive looking dish.
If prepared rightly,
Yeah,
absolutely.
if you prepare it right, it can be a very pretty dish.
Haggis, neeps, and tatties.
See,
Yeah.
I
Dish of
have
champions.
actually had haggis, and
Was
I'm
it actually
told that
good
the haggis that I had was prepared very well,
Okay.
Hmm.
and still I'm like,
Is this very well
I,
yeah. Is this very well by American cuisine standards?
I was gonna say, like, who's
no, it was actually, you know, well, to tell the family secret,
Ooh.
I'm a quarter Scottish, so this was genuine stuff.
Ah, so
Fair enough.
all I've got in my head is this is the same level as St. Patrick's Day Irish.
Hey, look, we put food coloring in the beer. That's Irish, right?
We-
You really want to split hairs, laddie?
I find this offensive somehow.
What did I offend our guest?
With Scotsmen always take offence. That's the general rule.
Yes.
We're good at that.
Mission accomplished.
Yes, but the major question is he wearing a kilt right now?
Well, I mean, I suppose I'm wearing a tartan scarf, so you know, whatever.
Yeah, that counts, right?
Aye,
You could totally
But does
wrap
the
that around your
scarf
waist if
extend
need
down
be.
to the groin? That's the important thing here.
of course.
Naturally.
Duh. Anyway,
Crusade
I'm
at Midnight
sure.
Castle.
Yeah, Ferret is bursting with more questions.
I'm supposed to be allowed to fangasm at our guest, damn it.
Yes, Crusade at Midnight Castle. That came about back about last year when I was as well as I was still associated with two other authors on the site, Monokeras and CCC. We were just sort of
Oh
doing
my
these
god,
regular
C
sort.
squared. He's totally outdoing you.
You know what? I don't want to hear it.
You're just gonna accept it?
I'm in the mood really to just, I don't know. I'm wallowing.
Oh, I'm sorry, C.
Thank you. That's a direct challenge to your honor right there.
No, because he had a really shitty meet today, so I'll be nice. I'm sorry,
It was
C.
almost there.
Almost a perfect season. See, this is why you should be allowed to beat the kids.
In the meantime, Scotland's doing
You take the
wonderful.
lowest scoring one and you just give them a few good smacks and you go, that's what's going to happen if you don't smarten up. And run faster!
Christ.
Partly in rest position! Move!
Just follow them with a combine harvester. That's the key.
Only if you sing.
Oh, you've got a brand new combine harvester. No, I'll give you the key. Oh god. I need Arch here for a duet.
Yes. Alright, you're talking about how it came about because you were collaborating with CCC and Monokeras.
Anyway, yes, we were all, at one point we were all sort of just exchanging sort of mutual prompts and the like. We would all write stories off a given prompt or theme. And I think the prompt for that particular story was the Cutie Mark Crusaders are left in a world where T-Rec won and consumed all the magic. How do the Cutie Mark Crusaders react to this? And with Monokeras
Badly, to say the least.
pretty. Monokeras and CCC, well, we all wrote our own individual stories, and I think for Crusade at Midnight Castle, for some reason I got the original sort of MLP story, the original one.
So
I raced
awesome.
Midnight Castle, and I decided I may as well riff off that. And not only
Damn it,
riff off
Early
that,
Pony deserves credit.
anyway,
Seriously, that stuff was dark.
Yeah, a bit.
A bit? There's literally, like, ponies who only have eyes because they had shards of rock stabbed into their skulls, and then they turned into eyes.
But
Where can I see this?
all being caused by the Rainbow of Darkness. Which is...
No, that's not the Rainbow of Darkness. That's, oh, Christ, I can't remember the guy's name. He's an evil wizard. He, like, kidnaps ponies and puts them in a mine and then puts their eyes out so they can't escape. And then when they're escaping, there's a cave. And they get a whole bunch of, like, gem shards, like, stabbing them in the eyes. And then they come out, and they use magic, and they're like, look, you have gem eyes now, and we're not going to discuss the fact that they were stabbed in your skull.
Interesting.
Yay!
Which My Little Pony thing was this?
This is, like, early My Little Pony, like, G1 stuff. That's where T-Rex
Yeah.
comes from and everything else?
Yeah, I know that's where Tyrion comes from, and that's also where the Rainbow of Darkness comes from, but
Yes.
I don't remember that thing.
Yeah, that's a different one. I'm trying to remember.
Also,
And of course, it's also where
someone
the
should
smooth comes
update the
from.
thread
Who's
with
the
the
best
YouTube link. Because I had someone message me that they had trouble finding
one?
it.
Oops.
Oh yeah, we shared it in the Skype chat, C-Squared.
On my internet.
You'd know if you had Skype.
My internet's
Uh,
dying. I don't know. My laptop's dying. I don't know.
Well, we miss you,
Wait,
see?
You're dying
You're not
inside.
dying, are you?
Don't die,
Oh, not
see?
yet.
That's like
Look
the
at
that's
that.
where the logic leads, man.
I
He's dying on
mean,
the inside.
Well, as long as he's not dying on the outside. Sock already did that. It's
Yeah.
enough dying for the angel.
Oh, no, he died on the inside and it became outside by him.
Yes, can we hear the story from Sock? Because he gets to decide how much he actually wants to tell people.
Yeah, long story short, about a month ago, I fell very ill with a, let's say, a very intimate disease. And
Which is to say his dick swelled up like a balloon.
I wish.
So he had an erection.
It lasted more than 4 hours, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, nothing excites me except, you know, the rush before a kill. rush after the kill.
Are you hunting
The
the
rush
bottom
when you
or something?
penetrate their skull.
Stabbing the bayonet. In his throat.
This is getting a little.
I have no problems with what I started.
So if it's like a higher profile target, does like the erection last longer or get
I was
larger?
gonna say, if you hypothetically were up to like murder the president, would this be like the erection would last about 4 years?
Oh, well, fuck no, I never murdered the president. Chain of command, come on.
Okay, murder
Murder someone
everybody.
else's president.
Yes. That's the idea. Like, if you murder like someone in like a presidential role or like nobility, is that just the ultimate high?
Well, I suppose that all depends on how much of a dick they are. Because that's kind of how it works. Like, you absorb exactly how the dick expands.
Fair enough. So it's
Oh, Seattle's Angels, the tangents where you will go.
And now I've got Donkey Kong in my head. Fantastic.
yay!
Yay!
Is it the Donkey Kong rap?
Speaking of tangents, I just realized I have a lamp bright enough to let me see my finger bones when I put my hand over the bulb.
Oh wow. We should
Very
also talk
spooky.
about how you have amazing art for your incredible story.
That's true.
Yes.
He does have a
Rurik,
story.
Rurik was kind enough to draw a picture that was commissioned by Ferret,
Mwah.
who I am forever grateful for.
I'm forever grateful to Rurik for putting up with me because, honest to God, I made him redraw that skirt about 6 times.
It was worth it. It's
Complaining
very,
about it.
very pretty skirt.
It's
Yeah.
nothing but
Go look at the art. I made it my cover art. So
Yeah.
whoever go look at it
I'm
and
happy.
admire
What
it.
is this now? Which story is this for?
Prince of Dust.
Prince of
Prince
Dust,
of
of
Dust.
course.
Oh,
Prince of Dust
really?
Cover
Yeah!
art. Go look at it.
It's amazing.
Everyone is highly confused and believes Ferret currently has an erection.
The female equivalent. My
The
nipples are
female
hard.
equivalent.
Well, a ferret kind of is a soft erection if you think about it.
You really startle them and all the fur on their tail poops out? That's the equivalent.
Oh my god.
The hair stand up on end.
Welcome to the show, Carabas. Are you enjoying yourself?
Have you?
It's civilized stuff. It's relatively civilized
So
stuff.
the one time we talk a lot
Totally
about
civilized.
penises, Bob isn't here.
I was gonna say, it's
Yeah.
like, oh god, why isn't Pav here? This
Yeah.
would be so perfect.
This is like that time
Because
when
he's
you
not
around
drinking with his
69.
real cool new friends.
Yeah, well,
he's
he's not.
wallowing in more misery than I'm wallowing in.
Meanwhile, Scotland's winning everything they're doing in rugby, which is fan-fucking-tastic.
And hilarious to watch
Brilliant.
Aqua melt down in the chat.
Yeah. Right up. Oh my god. The guy in the BronyCon chat, he vehemently supports Australia, the rugby team.
Yeah.
Because he is Australian.
Yeah, because he's an Aussie, so he really supports them.
He
Just
vehemently
listening to him
supports
freak out.
anyone who is playing against a United Kingdom team. So, him and the Scotland games have been fucking hilarious. Like the who was it? It was versus Japan, where at half time the scores were 12-10. And the final scores at the end of the game were they 45 or 54-10. I can't remember which. Which was especially funny because before the match, the Japanese coach was going like, if we can get the scores even at half-time, we'll win on stamina. No, that didn't work, Japan. That didn't work.
But it's cute that you thought it would.
It's fucking brilliant. I love it.
Alright, I want to
Now
talk to
that I
Carabas about stopped clock.
Go for it.
Awesome. What is the story behind that? I mean, you mentioned Mono Karis and CCC again, but you say this one is kind of a companion piece rather than just inspired by the same prompt.
Well, that's probably just me being a twat and sort of rephrasing the same basic thing.
Pretensions, delusions of grandeur.
Oh, I was just a twat. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, everyone's a twat once in a while.
Oh, why?
Yeah, exactly.
That's just a bit. Yeah, it's still all following the same basic scheme. Get together with Mono Karis and CCC, decide on a mutual prompt to write stories based on that. I think in that case, a prompt sort of came round to me, and I just decided to go with time travel spells and the like. And yeah, it's currently sort of ongoing. It's not complete yet. The stop
And you
clock.
should work on it because it's amazing. Especially the latest chapter, because oh my god.
Yeah, but sort of does leave things that in a fairly sort of precarious state.
Yes, it does, and I don't want to. I will not spoil it because it is amazing, and I really encourage people to read it. But oh my god, that plot twist was just. I read it. What?
What a twist.
What? It's really good.
What a twist.
Exactly.
Anything else you particularly want to ask about for it? I'm sure there's plenty.
I'd be curious to know more about Tempest, since I think Tempest was really the one that sort of inspired the blog post. People just finally going, all right, that's it. You need to tell us more about this world.
Yeah, I mean, sort of Moonlight Palaver sort of got a really good reception, a very gratifying reception, and, you know, since, you know, there's obviously scope for sequels, sort of touch on the other major events that sort of afflict Equestria.
Yeah.
They, you know, just sort of be interesting to write about the outside world's reactions to those events as well. And the next big obvious candidate was, you know, the return of Discord. And, you know, in the episode you do get to see him wreaking all sorts of havoc in Equestria, but, you know, it just wouldn't be fair to confine that havoc to just Equestria, you know.
Never.
Let all the neighbouring nations get in the act as well. Let all of our leaders be sort of confined in this one space of nobody but each other to vent at. Why not?
One thing I'm really curious about is that Tempest has so many big characters. I mean, there's everyone from, you know, you have the elephants, you have the rhinos, you have the dragons. How did you kind of create each of those characters? Because they all feel, nobody feels like a blank slate. Every character that you bring in really felt like a solid, fully fleshed out personality that I could imagine them fitting and inhabiting this world. So I mean, I guess part of me is kind of curious to know how you go about your character process, like how much work you do beforehand. And I'm also curious to know sort of how you kept it all balanced. I never felt that one character was kind of overshadowing anyone else. It all felt like they got equal screen time. And so how do you kind of juggle everything? See, look, I can ask intelligent questions too.
I can't pretend I've really got any sort of intelligent system for that sort of thing. A lot of it's sort of fairly ad hoc. I mean, a lot of the character sort of generation does come from the world building itself. We have a rough idea I've got of whatever nation sort of spawning this particular ruler. I mean, sort of for the rhinoceroses, for example, they've obviously got sort of an empire sort of roughly modelled on sort of imperial China and the like. So that sort of suggests. So that obviously suggested the image of a Chinese emperor, a sort of aloof, majestic figure, sort of scrutinising events across his wide empire from afar. And who would be fairly sort of displeased at these distant reports of donkey pirates ports and waters.
And then he turned into this adorable little kid who's like, "I hear you're robbing us. Is that true? My uncle says really nasty things about you." Oh, one of my favorite scenes is just the poor donkey.
Just to interject real quick, we had a question in the chat asking for clarification. Which story is being discussed currently?
Currently, we are discussing The Tempest, which is the sequel to Moonlight Palaver. It's basically Discord gets loose and drags all the world leaders in together.
It's set during the season 2 opener.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's basically what Discord was doing around the rest of the world outside of Equestria during that episode.
It's basically Moonlight Palaver, but instead of Nightmare Moon, it's Discord.
Yes.
Pretty much.
And way more characters, which are awesome. AKA, go read it.
That's because Discord can go wherever he wants.
Yes, but the characters are so good.
They are.
Anyway, sorry. Carabus was rambling and explaining things.
Anyway, yes, that's basically how you sort of get a handle on the characters. You look at sort of the world building behind each character. You look at sort of the general sort of character of our nation, really. Whether we're sort of throwing up an archminister or a king or some sort of, tribal confederation leader or what have you. And then you sort of just, whatever attributes with those positions suggest is just sort of roll forth.
Fair enough.
I mean, obviously you've got sort of individual personalities within those. Not every king's going to be the same and the like. So there's wiggle room. You generally just sort of spew for whatever seems most fun at the time. But whatever seems to produce whatever would provide the most drama or sort of the sardonic banter from the page or what have you.
Yeah. So I think the other big question has to be, where did the crown come from? What nightmare did you wake from that inspired that idea within your mind?
I got
Because
that.
I
I
think
got
the
that.
crown is probably one of the most popular characters that you've got. I know everyone is clamoring for a blog post about them. So
Riot, 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 riot.
So
Write
I've
it, write it,
gathered.
write it.
Crown, I got asked this question by the Royal Canterlot Library, and they interviewed me as well.
Mhm.
And I think, honestly, a lot of inspiration for that came from sort of half-remembered rules in the 3rd edition's Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master's Guide for creating
Nice.
intelligent artifacts and the like. So, when you've got, an idea for, intelligent artifacts knocking around in your head, as well as as well as an item that is traditionally associated with rulership and the like. And when you've got sort of a neat bit of alliteration rolling around in your head as well, the capricious crown, then sometimes your beautiful, beautiful alchemy just happens.
Fair enough.
Yes. Quickly to interject, what map is that behind your head? Because I'm pondering over it.
That is a map of Middle-earth. Only
Fucking
the-
knew it! That is a map of Middle-earth right there.
Oh,
Fantastic!
yeah, you're
Oh
using
God!
the right way
It's the
around.
Scottish Mind Hive!
Trust the American to say it wrong.
Discussion. I'm getting serious deja vu right now.
Yeah, but we had it before the podcast actually started, and I think Plum had gone to rug up and get a drink.
Did we?
Yes.
Okay.
I asked him, and Raz and I were discussing it with him.
Right, okay.
Way to go, Plum.
Well, you
Plum
fucking
kept
had a
us
conversation outside of the fucking hangout while I wasn't there. So
No,
it's
this is, we
perfectly
were
for you
in
to
the
have a
hangout talking.
outside of the hangout on air. It wasn't on air, so the
Fish,
audience
fish,
doesn't know.
fish.
You're fucking revealing trade. Oh, Christ almighty.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Right, what else have we got to talk about aside from Scotland being fantastic at basically everything it's doing right now?
Well, we can talk about all the other fix Carabas has written.
Well, we
Except
actually
for
have a
the Scotland's
question.
part of the
We have a
UK.
question from the thread.
Okay.
Comes from Savored Thoughts. How do you find time to sit down and write so many words to one story? This is obviously to Carabas.
This is.
Well, I mean, it could be to
it could
Plum
to
for
anyone.
his magnum opus.
It's also true. I'm going to say it's to everyone in general because basically
Sure.
everyone except for myself and Ferret.
Well, he specifically directed it to Carabas, but
Yeah,
it
he
can go
specifically
for
says,
everyone.
my question for Carabas.
Oh yeah, so I see.
Okay, I'll answer this, and then I can sort of pass it off amongst everyone else to get a range of opinions. I might not be the best person to ask about this, since a lot of my recent flicks tend to be relatively short, but usually a lot of it comes down to sort of settling down for a wee period, and then sitting down for a wee period, starting writing, and then usually just sort of waiting for that sweet spot of flow to kick in when the words just start sort of pouring out your fingertips. I mean, usually you're sort of going to write best. Usually you're going to get a lot written in a single session when you've actually got a clear idea of what you want to do.
Mm.
When you're not just writing off the cuff, but when you're actually going in with a strong idea of what you want to do in a scene, what characters are involved, what we're doing, what the outcome is, then that's usually when I'm at my most productive, when I can actually sort of hammer out a full scene, just drive right through it.
Mm. So your advice is to go in with a clear goal in mind, and that's the way that you find it easier to get the words onto the page.
I go in with a clear goal, but also have a clear progression towards that goal in mind as well. Go in with your conclusion in mind, and also go out with the various actions and sort of character dynamics and that. So go in writing with an impression of those as well. That's how you sort of get a productive writing session in, for me at least. Oh, I'd be interested in just letting other people in this chat have that question as well. Just see what works for you as well.
Sure.
We're always happy to talk smack about stuff we don't know about.
Oh,
Razred, this is mainly to you three.
And Sock.
I did say
I
so.
got you.
He's back writing now that his intimate problems have died down.
Mm.
if I could be permitted to weigh in on this question as well, like, because me, writing, like, say, 2,000 words in a single setting, even 1,000 words in a single sitting is like more than a day's work for me. Like if it's a question of time, it's just a matter of whenever you can just sit down and write. But for me, actually producing that amount of words in a single setting, like I find that it's really just denying yourself all distractions. Like if you're going to write, you really have to commit to it. You shut yourself off from all other distractions and just let the stream of consciousness flow. If you're really hoping to be productive, you have to shut off everything, including your critical part of your mind, because that's just getting in the way of your creative sort. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's basically what I can say here on this matter.
To get words on paper, even if you think they may be dumb words.
Yes.
Okay.
Makes sense. Get the words out there and then just edit them afterwards.
Yeah.
Fix it in post.
Exactly.
As the saying goes, write drunk, edit sober.
Try not to write when you're too drunk, or you're going to end up having to translate a lot.
Oh God! Did any of you guys?
Like me?
Did any of you guys see Kitsune Risu's live stream last night?
No, I didn't.
Did not.
Because he was playing Undertale, and the thing was, he was playing it on the version of the game where you kill everyone. And
yeah, he was doing a genocide run.
Yeah, the genocide run, and the final boss of that is extremely difficult. And he was playing it where he would take a shot of port every single time he died.
No.
Oh God, that's
fucking beautiful.
Oh
like,
my
I just
God.
turned up into Twitch and said hi in a Twitch chat. He went, BOOM! BOOM! Oh my God.
Oh God, I hope that's been archived because I really want to see that. No, I was so sad I missed it.
Meridian Prime, I think, is working on making a highlight reel.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Oh my God.
But it better make the cut.
Oh, how much of that stream is just like this?
Oh God, the bones! The bones!
Oh God!
The bones!
It's beautiful.
Oh, that's
anyway,
fantastic.
Enough of that. Back on topic. Raz, do you have anything to add on this particular thing?
What was the question again?
What's the best way to get horse words onto the film fictions?
Oh, if only I knew the answer to that. Like,
I have the best answer. I know all there is to know.
I haven't published anything yet this year, although I have certainly worked on many of other projects, but it really just comes down to...
I disagree with this.
Shut up. It really just comes down to getting to...
You can feel the love and respect going here.
It really comes down to finding your muse or whatever. For me, I have to... I hit certain snags along writing where I just don't... where I know what happens next, but I know the transition isn't working. So I will fumble over that transition and just rewrite sentences until I get the one that gets it to work, so I can move on to the next part of writing. And then I'll fart out 4,000 words in an hour, and then I'll hit another snag and so on. So,
just a quick
4,000 words
quick
in an
interjection.
It's happened.
Is that even possible?
Quick interjection. A user called the Dustmiter88 has commented on our Google Plus post of this, because Google Plus does that for some reason, asking for a link to something. I don't know what you're asking for a link for. If you're asking for a link to the stream, you're literally watching it as you post that question, so please clarify.
If you're asking for a link to join the stream, we have enough people, but thank you for the thought.
Yeah.
You have to
Anyway.
keep a stream of 67 words a minute going for all of the 60 minutes.
Beautiful.
Tell us more about this fantasy land you possess.
Go for it, Red. Your turn.
How to get words on Fimfic?
How to improve your word count, like up it, basically.
Improve your word count?
Well, up the number of words you can put on paper. How you
in a given amount of time?
How do you find time to write the horse words? And when
Oh.
you have time to write the horse words,
find
how do you
time.
get them out?
If it's referring to finding time,
I
I think
got
that's a different question.
Well, I find that when I have nothing else to do and nothing to distract me, that is when I am at my most productive. But seriously, like when you write, to me it's very, very important that you find a place where nothing can like invade your space, like and make sure that you don't tempt yourself either. Am I answering the question, or?
I think so, and I think I understand what you're meaning. Like, a common piece of advice, because I recently started working at a pharmacy, and a common piece of advice that we have to give out for people who have trouble sleeping is not to, buy loads and loads of drugs and sleep, which would give us more profits or whatever. It's when you sleep, what you need to, in order to improve your ability to fall asleep when you go to bed, you need to stop doing other things that aren't sleeping in the bed, because that way when you go to bed, your mind associates it with, oh, I'll pull out my phone and check Facebook. And when you're lying there trying to go to sleep, it's because your mind's thinking, I should be checking Facebook right now. Similarly with writing, set aside not necessarily a place, although a place could certainly work, but a sort of scene where you are able to where you can associate it with writing. Like
It's a frame of mind.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to sort of convince yourself of.
Mm-hmm. It's a frame of mind that can be triggered by a place, or it can be triggered by just a certain set of circumstances. But you need to find a place where you can develop this ability to write.
Something that can be as simple as, if you have two computers or just even two monitors,
have a writing computer.
Do your writing only on that monitor or that computer.
I recall so many times people will say, "Oh, I tried to write, but then I got writer's block." Most of the time, writer's block is just you convincing yourself that you're not able to write. It's not. There's nothing there's nothing physically stopping you from just typing out words onto a page.
Even if it's literally just you typing, I am writing words and these words are dumb, you're still writing something. It may not be good, but it's still writing. The other thing that I've heard that I know is effective, and is effective for me for getting stuff done, is setting aside a time and setting myself with a time limit. So saying, okay, I have 30 things to do today. I'm going to take this thing, and at 3 o'clock, I'm going to work on this thing for half an hour or 2 hours or however long I've got, and that's what I do. And even if I just sit there and stare at the pattern and go, I hate this and I despise the designer, I'm still working on it.
I know that.
And until, the mental timer goes off, I keep doing it.
I know Aquaman does a similar thing where he sets aside like half an hour for him to write every single day. I think just do something similar. He must do if he's doing Austria.
I think so.
Yeah.
He does Austria and he does Appledashery, and I think he does a couple other things. I'm not really
honestly,
sure.
But honestly, comparing skirts to any kind of normal human being is just pure folly.
He has a Dr. Pepper powered writing machine. Yes.
I think I've heard somewhere that he's given up the Dr. Pepper or something. I can't confirm.
He's trying to give up Dr. Pepper or something, which is madness because that
is clearly.
I think Raz would be able to better confirm than me.
I think he has given up Dr. Pepper in the past, but he doesn't drink it. He doesn't drink it like alcohol to give up the problems.
It's basically Dr. Pepper is the equivalent of alcohol sort of idea. But certainly the next time I talk to him, I will inquire.
He drinks it in moderation, I think.
Yeah, it's not that this is all he's drinking and all his teeth are falling out.
Yes.
Yes.
Speaking of setting aside time to write, I'm going to have to hop out of the stream early.
Okay.
Dang it, Red, why you got to do this? Are you at least going to eat crab cakes this time?
Because, no.
No, he's going to go write Prince of Dust, right?
Yeah, because I've been on a roll with that, and I don't want to stop the roll.
You don't want to kill your mojo. Fair enough, dude. We'll see you in a bit, dude.
Bye, Red.
See you later.
I might actually leave for the same reason to go do that.
You say
inspiring.
that, but I would not be surprised if in like 30 seconds I see Raspberries is now playing World of Tanks.
And if you see that, tell me and I will go be sad at him.
Just send him infinite frowning faces.
Why do I have to do that? Just go, Raz, you said you were going to write.
No.
I am writing words with the bullets.
No, doesn't count.
Oh,
Let's go write force words, damn it.
Yeah, what was that about being able to write 4,000 words in an hour?
Yeah, Raz.
Go do it.
Okay,
You're
wait.
gonna make yourself a liar, Rez?
Prove it.
Come on, Raz, prove it.
Do it.
We
Okay,
require
fine.
evidence.
Money where your
Pictures.
mouth is and all that.
Oh,
Oh,
he's,
that's already gone. All right.
he's
I
like,
guess that's challenge accepted.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Excellent.
That's because
But
it's
yeah.
now playing War Thunder. Anyway.
Stop
If
giving him
I could,
ideas, damn it.
Yeah.
I guess to
thank you for showing up, Carabus. I love Motion of the Stars and the White Midnight Palaver. Those were both.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I guess I could toss another couple of bits into
Mhm.
the topic of discussion on how do you write, how do you churn out words and all that. With any sort of routine, the thing is to really work at actually making it a routine.
Yes.
If you're going to go to the gym, make sure it's at the same time and for the same amount of time every single day. If you're going to write, make sure it's at the same time for the same amount of time every day. Your brain is going to hate you for this because the brain settles into a sort of comfort zone. But if you force it, it'll eventually shift that comfort zone to accommodate.
Mm.
The thing is,
It
though, it
will
takes a long
complain
time
and
for this to
groan
happen.
and put a lot of work into it, but it will happen.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
part of why whatever happens, you are probably going to not like something when you start doing it. And it doesn't
Yes.
matter what it is. Like, you could start a dream job, and after, like, you'll have 1 or 2 days where it's fucking beautiful and everything's sunshine and rainbows, but for the next few weeks, it's going to start sucking. But once you get through those few weeks, you'll find out, actually, it's pretty good again. It's not too shabby. That's all right. We do actually have another question from Savored Thoughts.
Hooray.
They say they run a group where people can come in and request criticism. I've only got about 19 people right now, and things have been going well. I'm getting the same amount of stories that I've expected, and I try to do my best to find time to read every post, good or bad, even all the chapters. I'm really committed to this, but I'm afraid I might mess things up. What can I do to try and keep things in order and not screw up badly?
First of all, acknowledge that you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. You do not have to be perfect.
That's good general advice, but I'd request that you be more specific as to what you think you're going to screw up. Are you afraid of screwing up the organization of the group, or are you afraid of screwing up a review for a person? Or I'm not really sure what's advice to give you. So
That too.
yeah,
Or taking on too much and not just being able to keep up.
I was going to say, that was actually kind of, based on the description, was sort of my concern of taking on a few too many things. And in that case, I would suggest find some good people to help out. Like, there's a reason groups let you assign moderators.
There's the key thing to being a review group, and if you're afraid of people, like too many things being applied, is to make sure everyone doesn't spend too much time on it, because for critics and pre-readers and things like that, the burnout level is insane.
Oh god, it's crippling.
Make sure
Case in point,
nobody
the Royal
does.
Guard.
Yeah, make sure.
Yeah.
The Royal Guard, although they appear to be making a comeback recently, since
They have been doing pretty okay.
that
Yeah, I was
said,
saying, they've started doing posts again.
It took them like a year and a half to get there.
it is literally the first post in over a year that was put up a couple of months ago. But yes, the Royal Guard have returned from the grave. But that's mostly because they've found new guys to replace everyone who burned the fuck out. Ferret is an EQD pre-reader, so I'm sure she
I
can
can tell
attest
you
to this.
plenty of stories about burnout and,
Both.
pre-readers taking on way too much responsibility and trying to do everything and then just eventually having to throw their hands up and go, I'm dead.
Both C-Squared and I have been involved in running other review groups aside from the Seattle's Angels, because let's face it, the Seattle's Angels workload, it's not going to burn anyone out really. It's pretty lax. You've got a few stories once every couple months.
Two
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
So it's not too shabby. But if you're doing a critical review thing, it's pretty easy to blitz through a fairly short fic and have a review up in a day or two. If you have a star reviewer, or if someone's really enthusiastic, you really need to keep an eye on them and make sure they don't do too much, because it is so easy to kill your enthusiasm when you just realize every day you're just reading shit, or every day you're just doing the same old thing, or whatever. It's really easy to burn out. So keep an eye on that. Have they clarified? No, they haven't clarified. I'm assuming that's due to the delay. Anyone else got any?
The delay doesn't actually seem to be too much. I'm talking to CV right now, and he's responding to things that happened like 10 seconds ago.
Oh, good.
Fair enough.
So, it'll just take him time to type it out, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of the delay is just typing it as we continue rambling on about stuff.
Anyone else got anything to add?
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. C squared.
However,
What? You just sort of.
no, but seriously, I'm not that great at reviewing. I don't think I struggle with writing words. So
I like your reviews. See,
I
I
think
think you do a good job of it. I mean, it may not be easy for you, but I think you still do well.
But the biggest thing is just focus on, like, find a thing that you liked about the story, and find a thing that maybe you didn't like. Since I'm not sure what the group is, but if you're going for critical reviews, try and find at least a thing that you liked and a thing that you didn't like, and try and go on for maybe at least a paragraph about. Force yourself to write about why you liked it or why you didn't like it. That is the thing.
We can give some general advice that we gave out during the pre-readers, editors, and
yeah, I was gonna say.
We have a link for that somewhere, right?
We don't.
Oh, did it finally go up?
Oh,
it's not up. No.
Oh, it's not even up. Well,
yeah.
Never mind.
I did get a message from the BronyCon staff saying that they're working on editing it as we speak.
Oh,
so
awesome.
Hopefully it'll be up soon. And we'll probably give a Seattle's Angels post about it when that doesn't go up.
Hey, look, we did more things.
Yeah, we did things not on the internet. Fantastic.
Well,
general advice for... Go on, Sop.
Yeah, I guess in the meantime, to build off of what he was saying, if whenever you're reviewing something, you have to identify both the positives and the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
Point out why exactly the negatives don't work and reinforce the positives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if, as a new writer, hell, even an experienced writer, the worst thing is to just see a whole list of things like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, you should do this better, this is not working right. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. It's what it basically.
No matter how sturdy your ego is, it still sucks to hear somebody walk in and go, "Your story is garbage," and hear all the reasons it sucks.
A balance is very.
Why are any of us writing if not for attention, for positive reinforcement?
Yeah.
Just, identifying those positives makes a world of difference for the writer. I mean, it's the fuel that anyone runs on, really.
And equally so, if you love a story to death, please be sure to point out some of the flaws, because it could be the greatest fucking story on Earth, but there's literally no story on Earth that is perfect. Everything can improve in some way.
The cruelest thing you can do to an artist is tell them that their work is perfect.
Yeah,
right.
It's not.
Aegis Shield.
Oh,
but I think it's also important to
remember. We're not
remember...
actively name-bashing on this damn podcast.
No, we're not gonna. That was a joke, sorry.
It's also important to remember, though, that if you can't find a flaw, mention there might be something you can improve, but I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. There is no shaming going,
you don't have to find something.
If
you can't, don't worry about it. If you can't, but make sure to mention something like that.
It's also noting that you can still just say, this feels wrong, but I don't know why.
Right.
You don't, if you can't be specific, just mention it anyway.
Don't make up specifics when you don't know what they are.
Yeah.
That's that's probably one of the worst things you can do, because then they'll go off that advice as if you knew what you were talking about, and then
that could really mess them
disaster
up.
happens.
Yeah, like I was saying, of course, Fidelia had that problem a couple of years ago where there were a number of stories that people received, like the pre-readers received, and they weren't great stories, but they couldn't specifically point out a thing that made it bad. It was just a series of things.
But because the way things were set up, we had to list, and so that was actually where some of the worst burnout happened, was literally people just trying to figure out why the story wasn't clicking and just destroying themselves.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No.
I know that because we've discussed this before, I think we should do a brief recap of some of the stuff we talked about on the in the BronyCon panel regarding criticism as the form of review.
Yeah.
You say we, but you were the only one here that was on it.
I was on it.
Wait, you were? Oh, you were?
Yeah.
I didn't.
I'm so hurt. Jeez, see.
God damn it,
I don't remember.
You are literally the worst, C-Square.
Well, I mean,
Literally Hitler.
Literally.
you're not wrong.
Hell.
Yeah, I think I see the makings of a Chaplin mustache there.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh, those are some harsh words.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, the most important thing you can do with a criticism style review is to, like, you're there to help the author. You're there to help them improve their story and improve as a writer in their future stories, and to help them recognize what they may have done wrong in previous stories. So you need to explain not only what they've done wrong, but you also need to cover why it's wrong, or wrong to you, and how they can improve. Because them improving is the end goal here.
Yeah.
That's why
Ultimately, the reason they're there is because they want your help, and that's.
Yeah.
I
they
think
want
that's
your help, and if you're helping them, you want them to improve.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's one of the really big things I think that both sides need to remember is that you need to go in it with the attitude of how can I help this person improve? It's never meant to be an antagonistic relationship. Absolutely, it can be really frustrating to, submit your baby to someone and have them come back and go, yeah, you did really well in these parts, but these parts aren't so hot. But
Yeah.
you still need to be able to sort of step back and, take a breath and realize they are here to help. They are not here, they're not sitting behind closed doors going, oh my god, this story is so terrible, I can't believe they submitted it, ah ha ha ha. It doesn't actually happen, even at Equestria Daily.
Yeah,
It happens in Seattle's Angels, but that's not our end goal, so
Yeah, but that's
we
a
laugh
totally
at you
different
about
thing
that.
because we're terrible people.
Freely admitted. I'm Scottish.
Chaplin mustaches all around.
I have Mein Kampf open right now.
I remember my high school library having that book.
Jesus
I actually
Christ.
was flicking through it for German class at one point.
You-
It's
teacher's
actually
like,
a hilarious
if you
read,
want to
honestly.
actually read full German, we have the German copy of Mein Kampf if you kids want to read it. We're like, do we get extra credit if we do? No. I don't think I want to read it, thanks. It's a little grim.
But yeah, and I guess to add a caveat to confuse things further, if you're reviewing with friends, sure, negative, purely negative criticism can, still have a purpose. Speaking with my experiences with Core, most of the stuff I've done with reviewing his stuff has been this doesn't quite work this way. What if you did this with this?
Really? Because his
Here's what I
experience
think.
is you just step in and go, this all sucks, go rewrite it.
I would not question
That's
that.
kind of what it
assessment.
comes out to be. But again, the thing with that sort of scenario is if you know the person, if again your friend
You know that they're not
have
there to
experiences
tear you down.
outside of simply reviewing, then it's purely negative criticism works because then it's a matter of, oh well, I didn't comment on this because that part's solid.
Yeah. I generally describe that as more of a sort of editorial role,
Mhm.
Yeah.
mentioning what you need to change about it in that sort of sense. But yeah, at the end of the day, 99% of the time, if you're running a review group, you have no fucking clue who the other person is at the end of the line. Of all the people I've reviewed from Seattle's Angels, I say, the people I know as a result of this, I've known since writing the review.
Right.
I had no idea who Kitsune
You
Mizu
don't know
was.
them beforehand.
Yeah, I have no idea who Kitsune Mizu was before I reviewed his stuff. And now he sort of screams my name when I turn up in the Twitch chat.
As long as he's not screaming your name when he has an orgasm, I think you're fine.
I
When you
mean,
get to that point, you may want to renegotiate.
it was pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie. So he may have. Yeah. But yeah.
I'm mentally picturing his reaction to this podcast, and it's going to be somewhere between mortified and cracking up.
I think it's probably going to be him cracking up.
Yeah, mostly.
Holy shit.
He's a good guy. He is fun.
That stream was fucking hilarious. He
I'm
literally
sorry I missed it.
pulled out. At one point, he was getting drunk and he was just mumbling, and then he pulled out a guitar and played "I'm going to swing from the chandelier."
He's got a beautiful voice, though. You gotta admit.
It was fantastic. Everyone was in tears. What? Where did that come from?
Yeah, he's almost always got his guitar. I remember editing for him a couple of times, and I'm just sitting reading, and all of a sudden he just starts playing the guitar, and I'm just like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know. I want something to do."
He knew the chords and everything. He was fucking great.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant.
But yeah, back on topic. Note that everything we've been saying is aimed towards critical reviews and isn't really applicable to the sort of reviews Charles Daniels do or other things.
Yeah.
Also,
No.
he has updated his post.
Oh good.
He's new to criticism. He thinks that we might have an idea about what he means about that. If you don't know what I mean by screwing things up a lot, I have a habit of going to forums and being misunderstood badly. There was the OC Slam Jam Grammar Nazis and that one Fallout Equestria things. Please don't explain, Plum. Just really like, why do I come up with these ideas? I have made improvements to myself in the previous few weeks, but it's me we're dealing with. Thanks so much for the help. I want to let you know I'm the only stalker to these streams. Hopefully this is my last comment. So basically...
Don't worry,
you'll
we
have
love
to
stalkers.
provide us with the context there, Plum.
This is the TLDR version. He wanted to start doing a Fallout Equestria full-length animated movie, like.
Oh, sweetie.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Naturally,
That's a
people
huge endeavor.
were skeptical. Let's just put it that way.
Understandably, because regardless of how much experience you have on this, that is a huge
It's
undertaking.
a huge audio. Like,
It's a huge undertaking.
Like there's someone who made like a Fallout Equestria animation where I think it was like the first 6,000 words of Fallout Equestria where Little Pip leaves the vault, and that took them 6 months.
I was gonna say, and think of like any other animation project, like Sonic Rainboom or
Yes.
Luna's kidnapping kids thing, because I can't remember the
Kidnapping
name of
Kids.
it. Well, that's basically what she does.
It really is.
Like, one of those kids is literally leaving a home. They're not all orphans. There's one kid, like, sleeping in a bed, and Luna's just like, come with me, children! Forget your parents! They're like
I will never get tired of the fact that I inspired Bob to write a story where Luna gets arrested for kidnapping children.
that is a beautiful story.
It was fantastic. It had a tragedy tag, I think.
Yeah, it does.
So it's a question of balancing ambition with reality.
Yeah. But back to his actual question is, it's partly balancing ambition with reality, and partly how do I not look silly in forums, and how do I avoid being misunderstood in forums. Basically, the best thing you can do is write your post, read your post again, read your post again, send it to someone else to read, send it to someone else to read, and then read your post again. Mm-hmm. And then make sure that you've not fucked anything up. Because at this point, literally every single post I've made, like as a forum post, I have fucked up the spelling of at least 2 words.
Yes.
And even with me checking it like 3 times.
I can't tell you the number of times VP has told me I'm an idiot for trying to post something.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the number of times I post something and then go, oh crap, that's not even remotely what I meant, and frantically re-editing.
This is part of the reason why you need to send it to someone else before you post it. Not me. You don't send anything to me because I'm the worst at
VP is a good one to send to because he will tell you you're an idiot. Why are you posting this?
Well,
send everything to Karamis.
Speaking as a
Karamis, he's busy being a Scot in Pandemonium, which is going to be amazing.
Yes.
Oh my.
Go on, Sock.
Speaking as a paragon of unbridled perfection.
Naturally. Which is, why you have those terrible intimate problems. How does your tongue not catch fire with those lines? I just simply expect you to stop and go, hang on, I think I've caught fire again.
There's fire coming from my ass. Beautiful.
But yeah, my point is nobody's perfect. Like, and the way you actually check against that is, of course, to check against it. You have to pre-read everything that you do. Consider the various viewpoints. If it's a matter of interpretation, certainly you have to be empathetic and consider, well, how exactly could this be interpreted?
Mm-hmm.
And if all else fails, remember this brilliant military acronym, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
If
I
you're
got told that while
trying to explain
programming.
a complex issue, just state it very simply so that even someone who is barely literate can understand.
Probably one of my favorite places at the moment on the internet is a subreddit, which is surprising to me, called Explain It
Explain
Like
it to me
I'm
like
Five.
I'm 5.
Yes.
Yeah, I
It's-
love that
It's
subreddit.
brilliant. Like it's the thing
literally
that-
just people go in and go, explain to me this complex scientific topic like I am 5.
Yeah,
And people do, and it is amazing. You learn so much stuff.
it helped me understand the Palestinian conflict in more detail than I previously did.
Yes.
It's pretty great.
The guys who are on it are just so fantastic. Like, they are just, because you can ask and they will explain it to you like you're an idiot, and then you can ask the most idiotic questions and they will still answer you in good faith. I love
They're
it.
very patient, so.
Yes. They are clearly all like kindergarten teachers.
like the
something.
Descendant, yeah.
Yes, exactly. They're basically all channeling TD to a disturbing degree.
Anyway, back on topic. Carabas, do you have any advice to not look like an idiot in a public forum?
Honestly, if what Guy was saying was true, that he's had sort of previous problems with that he thinks he's come off as an idiot and people have commented on that, then honestly, the best thing might be to look at how people responded, look at the issues they point out, and just sort of reflect on that the next time you post before you sort of hit the submit button. Just think, just sort of try and emphasize with people. Think about, your previous problems that were pointed out, and just try to avoid sort of falling prey to the same mistakes again.
So, to take a specific example, the Fallout Equestria thing, in future posts you make, save and thought, please be aware of the workload that you are, or the difficulty of the projects that you're proposing when you make the post, and be aware that other people may not find such things quite as feasible, and be ready to either willingly accept that or reassure people if you think they may have misunderstood. So.
And another thing to consider as well is occasionally it is something like actions do speak louder than words. So if people are sitting there and saying, well, I don't believe you can do this, then sometimes your best option is to just, put in a genuine attempt and show them how much you can do. It's also a good idea because sometimes it can also help show you what your own limitations are, because it's entirely possible that you will go, oh yeah, I can totally do this, and then you take it on and you kind of go, wow, this is actually going to be a lot harder than I expected. And it can help you give yourself realistic ideas of what you're capable of.
Building off of that, to weigh in on the leadership portion of it. No one likes a know-it-all sort of personality where, oh yeah, I've dabbled in this before. I know exactly how everything goes. That's the sort of thing that people find instinctively repulsive. If you're going to actually, be a leader in any sort of thing, you have to first demonstrate a certain proficiency in it. You have to show that, hey, I know what I'm talking about, at least to a certain extent. I mean, I'm speaking from the perspective of an Army officer, and we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, but we make it seem like we do.
And that counts for a hell of a lot.
Yeah. I mean, again, the eternal phrase is lead by example.
Yes.
So if you show initiative, if you show that, yes, I know what I'm talking about, I know I can get things done, and I have a realistic perception of exactly what it's going to take to get things done, then you can get things done.
I mean, obviously, we're not saying create a feature-length 90-minute animation of something else before you try and people. But at the very least, have proof of concept. Prove that it's feasible.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be done, but it's possible to do it, even if it may be difficult.
Yeah. Show if you want to make this giant 90-minute epic, make a little 5-minute animation with, the level of quality that you're wanting the full thing to have, so that when people ask you, well, okay, but I mean, how long does that take you? You can confidently tell them, well, I was able to make this piece in this amount of time, so it's probably a safe bet it's going to take me, X, Y, and Z amount to make the full product, especially if I can get assistance.
Not only that, but I'd recommend before you post in a public forum regarding a project, I'd make sure that you have a handful of people from wherever who can commit themselves to it before you go public. Make sure that there's interest there, that like at the very end of the day you're not one person saying I can do it, but you're a group of people saying we can do it.
Yeah.
You know? Have other people backing you up on this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Another
talk to your
another saying
friends,
to
get them to introduce people.
Go on, Sock.
another saying to keep in mind: competence inspires confidence.
Yes.
Like again, nothing
Oh,
nothing
goodness,
works
yes.
better than getting people to rally around something and showing that it works.
This is basically how Kickstarted projects get their funding. They
Yeah.
need to produce some sort of concept, some proof of the fact that they actually can make a video game or about like kung fu fighting reindeers or whatever it is, you know.
Or an
Hint,
iguana
hint,
in a
go
bat
fund the game.
platforming.
Yes. Yeah, but them's fighting herds is, still hurting for money, guys. So go and fund it. It's going to be amazing.
I do so hope that they get their funding done, but at the moment, unless more people donate, I don't think them's fighting herds is going to make it. They need a big push,
Yes.
and I'm not sure they can get it.
Which I think is really tragic, and
Yeah,
I
and I think
have a very angry rant about things, but I'm going to omit it because we can talk about better stuff.
Yeah, I'm just going to add that I think that the main reason that they need this big push is because they made stupid decisions when they were making the Kickstarter. So it's partly their own fault. So I'm not 100% sympathetic, but I'm still. It's a cool looking thing, and I hope it does get sorted. So yeah. But yeah, hopefully our rambling discussions about confidence and things like that have helped you a bit. So. Oh dear.
And if not, feel free to let us know.
Yeah, that is the thing.
We will be suitably apologetic and then give you more faffery that will hopefully be more successful than the last time.
Well, we don't have an awful lot of time left for faffing at the moment, so we're going to have to bring it to a close fairly soon.
Darn it! I wanted to rant about the latest episode.
Well,
I haven't watched it yet. No spoilers.
We can't
No.
rant about the latest episode, but we can rant about the ones previous.
Yeah.
Well, I've liked them
I
all
meant
since the
last
break so
week's
far.
episode.
So
I've liked pretty much every episode I've seen since the hiatus.
I've enjoyed like almost all of season 5. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I still want to
I'm
know
having a
what
good
was
time.
up with the Sailor Moon. That's all I want to know. I just want to sit down the staffer and be like, okay, I get it. Sailor Moon was great back in the 90s, but what?
Let go.
Yeah,
Let
just
it go.
move on, please.
Let go. Breathe deep in the blue.
I sat down and watched Ghost in the Shell last night. That
Oh,
was
very
interesting.
nice. What do you think of it?
I think
Are you?
for its
Well,
period,
first off, Plum, are you talking the movie or the animated series or something else?
the movie, the Ghost
Yeah.
in the Shell 1995 movie.
Yeah, the original.
Well, the comic I believe was the original, the manga or
Yeah,
whatever was the
true.
original.
Sorry, the
But
manga is the actual precursor.
overall, my experience was positive, but I think it's definitely something that was extremely good for its time. It was very avant-garde. It was like one of the big original anime movies that made it in America and the West. It was that and Akira basically that were the first two really
Yeah,
successful ones.
that was really what sort of introduced people to this concept of anime.
Yeah. That said, I feel that the cliffhanger ending was a bit. I liked a lot of the concepts they dealt with, but I don't think they really delved into them to a great degree, and they relied an awful lot on spoken exposition in order to explain concepts, rather than actually exploring them in the world. For example, like the big thing in this is the concept of artificial intelligence and sapiens and things like that with robot like things we've made being alive and things like that, and basically 95% of all the things discussion worthy were spoken in one speech by a robot.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. It was fucking gorgeous. I'm just gonna say that out there for a film that came out in like the year after Jurassic Park. It's a really good looking anime film. But I'd say if you're planning to check it out for yourself, don't expect to be blown away by modern film standards. So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely showing its age.
Yeah.
I think if you recognize the fact, if you recognize when it was made and how things were when it was made, it is an amazing film. But absolutely don't go in there and expect it to be this amazing blockbuster that's totally going to match up to, the standards of today.
Right, Max. Yeah. If it was me as my current self in 1995, going and seeing it in cinemas or something, I think I would fucking love it. But given my exposure to media that has come out since that time, I think it's merely pretty good.
Yep.
Overall. So, also, the English dub is awful.
Oh god, yes. Please don't subject yourself to that.
I can't. But the thing is, I can't handle subs because it's the same thing with video game subtitles. I end up not watching the movie or the cutscene, and I end up reading the subtitles, and I just get bored.
This is the benefit to being a speed reader. You don't have these issues.
No, I am a pretty quick reader. I find that when a movie is going on, I'm looking at the bottom part of the screen waiting for the words to come up instead of watching the major's facial expressions or whatever,
Yeah.
It's less that I don't read it fast, it's just that it's there, so I'm reading it and reading it again and reading it again.
Yeah, it's really easy to sort of stop paying attention to what's actually happening.
Yeah. It becomes more like an audiobook or something like that rather than a film. But yeah, the English dub isn't great. They are very robotic, which for about 30 minutes of the film I thought was on purpose, considering how many of the characters are actually robots.
Oh.
But then I realized that literally everyone spoke in this manner, except for the one guy who was a very enthusiastic dustbin man. He was very enthusiastic.
Love your job.
Yeah, it was at that point where I realized, actually, no, this is just poorly done. Oh shit.
But counterpoint to that, I do remember like the actual series. What was it? The Standalone Complex being pretty well dubbed and such.
Yeah,
it has the same sort of things going with it. Like a lot of it's very exposition heavy.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it's still, at least in my opinion, it was a lot better balanced with the action and the visuals than it was in the movie. Like this
to some extent, Ghost in the Shell is always like that, though. Like I feel like that's almost at this point, it's almost become one of the hallmarks of the series, is that it does tend to be very expo dumpy. Like that's just how it's written and designed to be. And
I came into the Ghost in the Shell movie only knowing two things. One, the Ghost in the Shell movie was considered an anime classic, like Akira.
Yep.
And two, I played the Ghost in the Shell PlayStation 1 demo disc, which has literally nothing to do with Ghost in the Shell except that it's in the world. You play as like the spider tank basically, and you can scoot around on legs. Yeah, whatever that thing is.
So adorable.
Yeah, it's a little red spider tank, and you can climb up the side of buildings and blow stuff up, and it was cool.
Yes.
That was fun. But it had literally nothing to do with the movie whatsoever.
It's like, this is adorable, but this is totally unrelated to the film.
Yeah.
Why would you title it this?
Yeah. Oh. So yeah, that's my in-depth review of anime.
This has been Paul Watches Anime.
You kids with you Japanese cartoons.
No, we're getting real hardcore now, Plum. We're getting into Korean.
Oh, jeez. I'm just gonna say it. Akira, the movie, wasn't that big of a thing for me. I didn't care for it that much.
It was meaningful because of the fact it came out when there was literally nothing else to compete with it. But looking at it now, it still hasn't aged super duper well. And there's also the whole giant blob monster thing that just kind of kills me.
I remember that movie purely for the fact that Akira's bike showed up in Command and Conquer.
Yes. I really have to admit, I love his bike.
Akira's bike slide has become a bit of a trope since then, where it's just
yeah, where it's just like, look, we're edgy, we understand the hip kids.
I think the first anime movie I ever watched was Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, that was my introduction.
Admittedly, I've only seen like 4, which is like Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Akira, and thingy. The thing I just mentioned, Ghost in the Shell. Those are the only 4 anime movies that I've ever seen. I think I saw briefly one of the Studio Ghibli ones, which featured an awful lot about planes, and I can't remember.
Oh, Porco Rosso.
No, I don't think it was that one.
No? Castle in the Sky?
Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, yes.
I've seen bits of that, but I haven't sat
Based
down
off a
and
very
watched it.
good book.
Right, okay.
Because I remember hearing they were adapting it. I'm like, I don't know if I want to see it or not, because I really like the book, and I usually don't like film adaptations and crap, but it's Ghibli.
It's Studio Ghibli, yeah. So, I freely admit that my impressions of Akira and Ghost in the Shell are as of someone who is a noob to anime. Like, that's basically the only
Admit
anime
it, Plum, you
experience.
totally had a weeb period, just like everybody else.
The only thing close to a weeb period I have is when I sat down for like 3 days and watched the entirety of Girls und Panzer.
And ate haggis.
So I freely admit I'm a bit of an anime noob and nothing, but yeah. Oh well.
It's all good.
Have we had an update from Saber Thoughts at all? Or shall we bring this thing to a close?
I hate to say it, we should probably bring it to a close.
Yes, we probably should. So, thank you for joining us on the stream, Carabas. Apologies, we just sort of rambled a bit at the end and didn't really
That's
involve...
alright.
He's watched our podcast
I've
before.
seen
He knew
bits
what
of
to
us.
expect.
I came in suitably braced.
You're not one for the animus and the Japanese cartoons.
I've seen Shamefully Little. I've seen a couple of Studio Ghibli, Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, but apart from that, not much.
I can't blame you. I'm generally not either. But yes.
Scottish solidarity.
Scottish solidarity. We're basically the same person at this point, you know?
I know. Except he writes words and you don't.
Both
And
Origins
he
Scotland,
actually sounds Scottish as opposed to, BBC.
Just wow. If we have a hangout on like this 20th-ish of December, like I will be extremely Scottish because that is the weekend I'm spending up in Scotland with the rest of my Scottish family. And as I've said,
You really need to have this. Because the only time I've heard you even remotely Scottish is when you're absolutely drunk.
Wow. That's the general state of being for Scotland. So.
Yeah, I know, but that's my point. Is you sound Scottish when you're black. The rest of the time you don't.
Aye. But yeah, I will probably be sounding extremely Scottish by that point because I'm in close proximity to Scottish family members. So.
Hurrah! We shall have to make sure to capitalize on that.
Anyway. Yeah, so let's bring this finally to a close before we start having another discussion about black holes and the actual existence of dark matter and stuff like that.
And haggis.
I would absolutely be fucking down for more dark matter speculation because that was fucking.
Yes, that was cool.